Okay, I think I'm live. Am I live? Reclaimer Rob, hey, how's it going? And 9 lives 9, I guess, yeah? Can you guys hear everything okay? Hmm. So I don't know. I can't tell. Hey, Tim, can you guys hear me? Oh, you're not here. Let me do this. Turn off the heater. There's no reason to have that running. Well, it's cold, so that I guess there's a reason for it. But I got a little blanket there. I can use kind of a shawl sort of thing. Okay, cool. Thanks, Tim. Is it Nija? Okay, cool. So I don't. Oh, you know what? I don't have all the stuff I wanted. I want. All right, so I've got Christianity and World Rule. Hey, how's it going? What did I say? I said, hey, how's it going, or something like that. Space Cowboy. Hey, how's it going? You just got a plane 20 minutes ago. I don't know. Did you mean got on a plane or got off a plane or something like that? 9 lives. It's going okay. You don't have to say Space Cowboy. Would you throw in the phrase "got off" just there by itself? You know what I mean? It's like the phrasing. I don't know if you ever watch Archer. Turn up the volume. Okay. Let me see if I can manage that from here. Let's see. Advanced audio properties. Do 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 do. Um, let's see. There. Is that any better? As far as the sound levels? Do do do. Because I turned up the gain a little bit. It seems like it's actually doing it. Otherwise, I have to go over to the interface and do it over there. Okay, I'm going to leave the volume alone then, unless anybody else finds it really crummy, because I don't want to have to go around the desk and twiddle with knobs like that with the headphones on until something is. I don't know, whatever. I thought I had them set pretty good, but my problem is that well, it's a little inexpensive Focusrite interface, which is fine. It does the job, but the knobs are a little kind of small and fiddly, and if I do anything other than ASMR, and because I have a setting that I think works good for ASMR, which also works good for the live stream. But if I do anything for music, which I'm trying to do more of, which I've done since the last time I did ASMR recording, um, it is well, I changed the knobs on the gain on that whatever, and then I had to put them back. And okay, let me see if I got some comments here. Okay, is it okay? Is that going to work for you, Tim? As far as it being a little better? I want to make as many people happy as I can. So let me know if you because I can pump it up a little bit more. I just don't want to overdo it. Um, okay, you like the cards thing. What was that? The hypnotize thing? I really liked that one. That was a fun one to do. It took a while to get it to, you know, and yeah, it was a fun thing to do. But yeah, I'm going to do more of those types of things. Um, I'm kind of developing in my head a sort of a rotation I want to do. Like I want to do a gameplay, then I want to do some kind of a countdown, something, word list kind of a thing, and then I want to do like the things like story time and or reading the Faust thing, or what I mean. So I'm trying to come up with some things so that you know I can try and do just some regular, ordinary things that I get in the habit of doing, so I at least put out one video a week at least. And then, start, the things that take more time. Whatever, I'll sort it out, but yeah. Okay, let's see where I'm at with the comments here. Pop, 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 pop. Oh, all right, Space Cowboy. Okay, well, where'd you travel from? Or to, or any of that? Okay. And Phoenix Force says, almost forgot. Oh, cool. Well, I'm glad you made it. Okay. Oh my goodness. Thanks, Phoenix. That's fantastic. I don't ever know quite how to respond to you guys when you're being that generous. That's just crazy generous. And I don't know, it kind of makes me get, I don't know, kind of a little choked up and stuff. So, um, anyway, everybody tell Phoenix, thank you. That's just crazy, crazy cool, generous, man. I really do appreciate it. It will go to good use for me, believe me. Okay, anyway, let me get back over here to the volume thing. And let me just pump it up a couple more dB. Okay, how's that? Is that ba 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 ba? Let me go up one more. I'll take it up. Hello. How was that for everybody? All right, I'm going to leave it there, and we'll see how that goes. All right, Christianity guy. That's Christianity and World Tour. I'm just going to call you Christianity if that's okay, because I'm lazy. Okay. I went to Vegas. All right. Okay. It's not moving at all, huh? They call him Christ. I don't know, man. That's a little. I mean, I'm not Christian, but I know stuff like that could offend other people, so I'm not. B Pro. Well, greetings from France. 6 a.m. there, right? Holy mackerel! Are you getting up early, or have you stayed up late? Oh, so you were in Vegas too. All right. Okay, so do I need to tinker with the sound level more, or is everybody more or less pleased with that? Because it's like if I come over here, and if I come over there, it's going to start, that's pushing me up into the, well, where the little metery guy is going to put me into yellow, but here, let me just do this. Let's do this just a bit more. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. It doesn't seem to be. Okay, well, let me know if it needs to come up, because I think I'll have to go over to the interface to do it if it needs to come up anymore. All right, let me see where I'm at. Gross Island, Michigan. Okay, Rich. Well, hello back. Hey, Space Cowboy. Thanks. That's fantastic, man. That's really groovy. I appreciate that. Again, I'm always, I'm flabbergasted by your guys' generosity. I really do appreciate it. Okay. Alexander from Argentina. So do you go by Alexander or Alejandro? I mean, I'm fine with either, but, well, I mean, assuming you don't mind my pronunciation, I don't speak Spanish, so I kind of have, well, I lived in San Diego, so I mean, I know things like La Mesa's the table, you know what I mean? All right, So, yippee-yi-yay. All right, so let me get. Yep, I got this brush, and I got. Well, here let's go through. So we have the paint brush. Brush, 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 brush. Brush, 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 brush. Brush, 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 brush. Okay, so we have that. I also have the beard brush. Here we can do a little bit of. I don't know, did that come across? I know that it's the. Let's slow down, Bill. God, every time I brush it, it's like my beard sheds, so. Jeez. I'll try to remember to do some whispering. Get a little whisper over here, too, as well. Okay, I also. But, oh, I have the little, this thing here, too. I also like doing it this way. How many of you guys like this thing with the jar? I really like this noise. But if nobody else likes it, I realize it's a bit. But I also. Excuse me for a quick sec. I don't know how many of you guys like crinkling, but I like crinkling. So I got. Well, this is stuff that came in packages that I've received over the past little bit of time. Anyway, so some stuff was wrapped in newspaper. So just like that. I'll put that over there. I'll just stay there. Big old piece of bubble wrap. Crinkling seems like it's super whatever. Anyway, and then I got some other smaller bags here for bubble wrap. That's what it's the word. But what came in this? I've had this for a while. I don't know. Sometimes I tend to save these envelope-ish bubble wrap things because they invariably come in useful. Like this one. I like this one. It's right. It's big enough I can put my hand in. So there's the assortment of noise stuff. I also, instead of Sokoban, I have, well, I'll just switch over to it so you guys can see. I don't know that I'll start playing it right now, but I've got the Codebreaker Mastermind thing set up so I'll do a little bit of that later, I think. Let's just come back to here, though, just so I can check your guys' comments and make sure that we're all, kind of caught up and everybody knows what's up and what's going on. Okay, so Tim, he's talking to Reclaimer Rob, and Tim, do I remember the ASMR channel at first? It wasn't one that got me interested in doing it. It was the whole sort of, the whole thing, man. Just the whole, because this was, let's see, I started my channel in 2012, I guess. And man, when did I start actually listening to ASMR on YouTube? It was a while before, it wasn't, well, I was watching before there was a term ASMR. So, I don't remember when man, I can't even remember her name that came up with it. Yeah, well, those of you who know will know. Maybe somebody can put it in the comments, but yeah. So yeah, there wasn't any one channel. You know, who was I watching back then? Well, of course, Maria Whisper Crystal was one of my favorites back in the day, um, and A.S. Marvelous. Um, yeah, I mean, so really it was just a whole bunch of them. Okay. Nine Line says, did I see the Springbok ASMR? You know, the name Springbok ASMR kind of is tickling my memory, but I can't bring anything to mind right now. So I don't know if my memory's tricking me or whether there really is something there. Which noise is relaxing, Tim? Okay, JM86 likes the jar. Is that what we're talking about? Is the jar sound? Something new. Okay. Oh, you know, yeah, the problem with the radio host role play thing is that because I tried to set it up so it would actually play like a playlist, so that I would actually be like being a radio host, and it would go to other material and come back to me. You know what I mean? So like, you know, being like a DJ, as it were, kind of thing. And that's clearly not the best way to do it, because a lot of those videos don't exist anymore. So it's kind of okay. Okay. Oh, Queen of Serene. Yeah, she was really good too. Okay, thanks, Tim, about clarifying the sound for me. Um, yeah, I really liked Queen of Serene though. There's the one that she did that was that's one of a chakra healing thing. That's a really really good one, and it's because I guess she did two of those that I can think of, maybe more, but I think two that I remember. But one of them, in the very beginning of it, kind of in the background, it sounds like somebody's riding off in a motorcycle, but it's really kind of quiet and in the distance, but it sounds really good, and the way it got captured by your mic, at least in my headphones, always sounded really good. You know what I mean? It was just like, it just really gave it like a realistic depth. And yeah, I like that kind of thing with that. So I don't mind it so much when sounds, as long as they're not horribly intrusive sounds. I'm okay with little sounds coming in now and again. I mean, you know, the stuff I consume. I try to keep that stuff a bare minimum in my own videos if I can, just because I know a lot of people don't care for the weird stray noises. Um, yeah, I'm going to be doing the book stuff is going to be a regular feature. Um, I think I'm going to stick with. I wanted to do Joyce's Dubliners, which I'll get back to, but I feel like I just need to get better at, you know, reading. Um, I kind of feel like sometimes I come across a little stilted in the reading, and Joyce deserves. There's a musicality in his writing that it deserves to be treated well. And I want, you know, I mean, I know maybe I'm taking it too seriously, but it's frickin' James Joyce, man. Anyway, but I'm gonna do some more of the Faust stuff auf Deutsch, and actually, it's still here on my desk. All right, we can do a little bit of some page flipping on that. I forgot this was even here. But anyway, I'll be, you know, reading some more of this in another video soon, I hope. Well, hope. I'm the one that makes my schedule. So yeah, that's going to be on. So both more auf Deutsch and then some more. I'm going to do more Grimm's fairy tales because I think, I don't know, that just appeals to me. And there's a few Grimm's anthologies that are on the Project Gutenberg website, and that's where I pull all that stuff because it's all public domain, and that way I don't have to worry about anybody griping at me about, you know, monetization and, you know, copyright stuff. You know, that doesn't stop. I don't know whether you guys, how many of you actually pay attention to the, or even watch all the way, because apparently the average watch time is really low on my videos. But at the end, I had this thing, and there's a water noise going in the background. And anyway, somebody tried to do a copyright strike on the water sound. You know what I mean? But they were calling it a piece of music, and it was like, what are you talking about? So YouTube did this whole. I had to go through this whole rigmarole, and but all of those sounds and those images that I used for my little collage things in the intros and on the outro and all that, which I do because mostly it amuses me, which is why I do that. You got to have some fun, right? And but it's all Creative Commons stuff, and I always, and most of them are Creative Commons 0, which means you don't even have to give it an attribution. You could just use it. But I always give everybody credit because people deserve credit for their work. Anyway, so I had to actually send an explanation and a link to the license for the sound file before YouTube, released the thing. And it was just like, anyway, that's one complaint I have with YouTube is they favor the complainer. And you can go, oh, that's mine, give me the money for it. And they favor them. You have to prove your innocence, as it were. And they don't do any due diligence of any kind. Which annoys it, anyway. So I don't want to get too gripey. Let's not get, I don't want to get all down about things like that. So let's get back into a good mood. Let me see if I can catch up on Connor Kessler says, all the way back to 2010 and da. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, it has changed quite a bit. Yeah, Whisper Crystal, right? Oh, thanks, ASMR Life. But I'm glad or ASMR is Life. I'm glad you like my reading. Yeah, but I'm going to stick with, like I said, Goethe and the Brothers Grimm for a while. And then when I feel more kind of that, like I've got a good groove going, then I'll yeah, the Joyce will come back. Life and Death of Colonel Blimp. That doesn't ring a bell. I don't believe I have. Is that a movie? Is that, I'm assuming, a movie? Okay. So, Don Quixote. I have never read Don Quixote. Actually, is that the right way to say that? I'm not never sure. But it's what, Cervantes, right? I mean, it's one of those things that a lot of people have read. High school, college kind of thing. If you're doing a kind of a lit thing. Yeah, I think I'll probably do some more family memory type things. Um, the thing about that is I'm never sure which things are really going to make for good ASMR. Maybe well, I know I overthink things all the time, but it's just the bane of my brain. It just goes, well, that's part of my issues, right? Oh, man. WTW 407, hey, back to you. Mm. Okay. Well, let's do some of the noises, shall we? I'll do a little bit of brush. Painting some happy invisible trees on some microphone screens. Brush. Yeah. Oh, I don't remember who it was, and I don't know if the individual is here yet today, but last time there was a couple of words that were requested. I think one of them might have been catatonic, or maybe that was my injection into the thing, because I like that word. But words like catatonic, is there any words that other people like a lot? Catatonic. I like that word a lot because it has this k and the t, and I quite like those types of sounds. Yeah, the backgammon thing. Yeah. So that's another thing. I can always, just do things and babble while I'm doing things. Um, do I enjoy checkers? I don't play checkers anymore. I used to play it when I was younger. Actually, I used to play checkers from being very young till, I don't know, probably my teen years, because I played them with my great aunt. Um, she was, I don't know if I've talked about her. I'll talk about her for um, a minute here. My Aunt Ellen. It was actually my mom's aunt, so my great aunt. At least that's what we called her, great aunt. Excuse me. um, but well, when my parents got married very young, and um, well, because they were high school sweethearts, and my mom was a year older than my dad, and dad knocked my mom up basically, and so they got married because of me. Anyway, but they were both trying to do school and stuff because they were young people trying to get their lives started, and my dad. Yeah. Anyway, so my great aunt came out to California from Indiana to kind of help, and ended up kind of being a bit of a nanny for me for a while. Just kind of like babysit me and stuff like that, so that my parents could go to work and school and those types of things. Anyway, so she became yeah, super important to me. Anyway, part of the thing is, well, I'm not sure what this is necessary for you guys to know, but I'll go ahead and share it anyway. Um, when she was quite young, she had a really, really bad fever of some kind, and it stunted her growth. So she was like 4'11", and she was really, really, really overweight. So she was like this little ball, but she was feisty, and yeah, and she was, well, she cared for me a good deal. I mean, I was more or less the most important in the world to her, and because there were times she would take my side on. It didn't matter what I did, even if I was in the wrong. She would, stand up to all the other adults in my family on my behalf. And you could see this little 4'11" woman being, "You leave Bill alone." Although she called me William. William, you leave William alone. It's just like, anyway, so she and I were, yeah. And she liked playing checkers quite a bit. Um, and yeah. So we played checkers quite a bit when I was visiting with her and that kind of thing. Anyway, let me see what I've missed so far with comments here. So, am I afraid of wildfires in my area? My area is not suffering from wildfires in the moment, and it's been raining a lot, so there's not a lot of dry grass yet. There probably will be this summer, but the part of the Bay Area I live in is rarely hit by fires. Actually, this part of California is rarely hit by horrible fires. A number of years ago, there was a bad fire in the Oakland Hills, which isn't far from here, but that's pretty rare. Usually the fires are in more ruralish areas. Um, yeah, so Mozambique, huh? Yeah, it was my grandmother's sister. It's actually my grandmother's older sister. My music interests, pretty much anything, man. I shouldn't say that. Let's see, who do I really like? Who are formative people to me? So for rock bands, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, um, Jimi Hendrix. Um, I mean, there's Cream, that kind of thing. I like that, especially late '60s into the '70s. Psychedelic into like Zeppelin stuff. And then after that, I mostly started getting, as far as chronological stuff, I started getting more into progressive stuff. So out of that stuff in the '70s, being King Crimson and well, I guess they started in the late '60s, didn't they? And Yes, I really like Yes. I also like a lot of jazz. I like Miles Davis. Modern music would not be modern music without Miles Davis. He impacted so many things in the world. It's insane. Thelonious Monk, I like quite a bit. And of course, Lester Young and Charlie Parker and that kind of stuff. Um, So yeah, I'm pretty well, and I also like a lot of like punk and like I actually like Gen X. That's Billy Idol's band from before he was Billy Idol, and I like the Buzzcocks and early Clash, that kind of stuff. I didn't really care for the Sex Pistols that much, but they were a boy band basically. I mean, they were Malcolm McLaren sort of assembled them. I liked PIL a lot. I liked John Lydon and Public Image Limited. I liked that a lot, especially the album. Well, it's what is it? It's Metal Box, or the way I got it, it came out. It was kind of reissued as a second edition. Um, but yeah, that's a great. I also like the album Seattle, which is much later, but that's a really good one too. Um, and I like a bunch of like new wave-ish stuff, like XTC, Simple Minds, that kind of thing. Yeah, so I like a lot of stuff. Walla Voodoo, that just popped into my memory. I'm on a Mexican whoa radio. Let's see what's going on here with the comments now. Okay, anyway. Oh, hey, Paul. Yeah, her build and appearance is a bit like the medium from Poltergeist. Yeah, exactly. I lost your dad. Yeah, my aunt, she is gone now. She lived, let's see, she would have been in her 80s when she passed. And it was, let's see, that would have been late 90s, I guess. So I was probably, probably in my early 30s, I think. I think it was after 95, so I think I would have been in my 30s. Um, yeah. Oh, wow. Grew up in, hey, Connor. Yeah, I currently live in a place called Castro Valley, which is kind of sandwiched between like Hayward, San Leandro, Oakland, Dublin, that kind of thing. Um, and I used to live in San Francisco for quite a bit. So if you see the videos where there's like crown molding behind me and stuff like that, that's when I was living in San Francisco, over on Golden Gate, just off of Divisadero. Um, but I was born in San Diego, and I spent a fair amount of my time down there as well. But yeah, I'm currently living in the Bay Area. So you said you grew up in Pacifica. Do you not live there? Where do you live now? Oh, in Pacifica, there's a radio station that's over by there that used to, it's like a community radio or a college radio or something like that. And I can't think of the guy's name. He went by Brother something, and he did these just kind of oddball rambles and stuff. And yeah, he was kind of a cool guy. I mean, I can't, yeah, anyway. Thelonious thing's like a clone. Yeah, Thelonious Monk is, man, he had one of the most sophisticated senses of harmonics, period, man. He just understood harmonics, like, I mean, as far as like harmony and chords and how they rang together and how, I mean, he just, that was his world, man. He just got that. It's crazy how crazy cool sophisticated his chords were and stuff. Okay, when can we see you play some music? Um, I don't know. I'll think about that. Um, yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm trying to get stuff together for my music channel, which is where that stuff will be put out. Um, but I haven't done anything live in a long time, so I don't know. And I don't have any means of. I don't know. I'm not set up to do anything in here now, but. Black Flag. I never was that huge into Black Flag, but yeah, I mean, they're all right. They're actually pretty good. It's just they weren't one of my favorites. Um, but yeah, did you ever see the first version of The Decline of Western Civilization, which was mostly focused on a lot of the LA scene of the punk thing? Um, but it seems to me that Yeah, man, I can't remember everybody who's in that, but I'm pretty sure that Black Flag got covered in there as well. Um, and the Doors, yeah, the Doors are all right. I especially like the album "Waiting for the Sun." That has that weird lizard king thing on it, but also has "Hello, I Love You." That da, 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 "Hello, I love you," da, 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 you know that thing. Um, okay, yeah, Tim, I do. Actually, our household is a multi-generational thing. So it's a house on a hill. It's just like a normal house, but the way it exists on the hill is such that there's a basement garage that's kind of, it's like, here's a basement garage, and then there's the rest of the house that sits on top of it, right? I guess it's like kind of, well, here, let's do it this way, so it'll be like at the edge that way, right? And so I live down here, and everybody else lives up here. Um, and so my dad lives up there, her sister with her current husband, uh, and her daughter, her eldest son, her youngest biological daughter, her youngest daughter, period. She has a stepdaughter, but she moved to Texas. And then her youngest son, who's actually also her stepson, he lives here too. And then this dude who's a family friend of ours lives with us, named Jarrell. And of course, Dad. Um, so let's see, there's my sister and her husband, Zoe and her boyfriend, Jarrell, Tommy, my dad, Alan, and me. So counting everybody, it's 9 people. And then I think 7 dogs, 2 pit bulls. My sister has 2 dogs that are both kind of nuts. Um, and then, yeah, there's some that are these Chihuahua and Terrier kind of little dogs. 3 of them are these little dogs. And they can be yappers at times. And it's like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And, I mean, I love them. And I love playing with the dogs. And here's the thing. I'm the only one that gets on the floor and plays with the dogs. And I'm the one with the screwed up spine. Oh wow, okay, yeah. My grandpa was in the Navy, so when I was a kid, he did a career. So he served in World War II as a submariner. He was the chief engineer on submarines, and his sub was at Midway, the actual Midway, the Battle of Midway. Um, and anyway, but he after the war was out, he went ahead and signed on and did a full 20 years. Um, anyway, so because of that, he had access to certain areas of the base, like there was a swimming pool that was used, by the Navy, but there was hours where it was kind of open, and family members could use it and stuff like that. So even though he was retired and didn't, live on base, obviously, but he got access, so he would take my sister and I down there, and of course we could go look at boats and things now and again when they were open for public view, and um, yeah, that was always fun. I was always fascinated by that stuff. Um, KEXP, I think that might be it. I think that might be it. Yeah, 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 yeah. Within last 3 months. All right, cool. Well, it's good to, well, welcome back to the Bay Area, man. And Lego J says, oh, okay. Glad you could catch us, man. Cool to be here, man. Thank you. Connor. Hey, Connor, how's it going? Okay, yeah, I think, yeah, that sounds. So the guy that I'm thinking of, he was, man, well, his thing was brother something, and he was just really, I mean, I don't have any idea what he looked like, but I always figured, well, that he was something like me, the kind of a weird hippie-esque sort of guy, because that was his thing. He was always kind of talking about things from a sort of spiritual perspective, and but he was a very chill guy. He was a super, and he did like there was always a meditation that was part of the episode. Um, yeah, it was really cool. It was really really cool. Okay, so Tom McDonald. Oh, okay, right on. Uh, One in a Million? No, I have not heard of them. I'll look into them if I remember. Um, And Shelby says, okay, yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. It's craziness, but yeah, it is good. Why did I move from San Francisco? Well, a multitude of reasons. From my perspective, for me and my existence, it's when I was first diagnosed with my issues with my degenerative disc disease, and which was well, a whole lot of things went bad with my health after that. Um, and I was working for a company called Arrow Paper. I don't think they exist anymore. Um, but I ran a thing that was called Discount Shopping Bags for them. It was their online entity. Actually, they had two. They had one that was arrowpaper.com, but it didn't sell things. It was just sort of a catalog, I guess, for because they did well. There's Arrow Paper, and then there's Discount Shopping Bags. And Arrow Paper did for the online thing. They were trying to push customization of bags and boxes and stuff like that because it was just mostly retail packaging, business to business. Um, but so I ran the online thing, but I wore every hat. Like I did fulfillment out in the warehouse. I helped with shipping and receiving. But part of my job was being out in the warehouse and flinging around boxes of paper. And boxes of paper are heavy, and it was completely aggravating my spine issues. So I was like, I need to do something else, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And at the time, my mom's health was kind of bad, and so my dad said, "Why don't you move back home? That way you can be around with your mom for the last bit of last couple of years of her life, because we didn't know how long she had, but we were hoping for several years, but it turned out it was just a couple. But yeah, so it was this whole sort of collection of things that motivated me to come back. Um, and I'm glad I did, because my spine just really went bad fast. And then, of course, I kind of let it, well, I didn't kind of, I let it completely defeat me. And there's also, I have mental health issues that just really got exacerbated by the pain issues that I was having with my spine. It's like it just sort of tore a lid off a box that just, anyway, but I don't want to get into the negative stuff. But that was kind of the stuff that was, motivating to leave. Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to be a downer and all that stuff, but I want to be open with you guys. So, yeah, I think it's important to be a human that's honest and, that kind of thing. If you haven't figured it out yet, I think it's good for humans to do things with and for humans. The atheist anarchist advocating agape, right? Anyway, do I have to mark your food? Okay, so I eat separately from everybody else. So I don't have to. I have my own little fridge down here. I don't do any cooking, really. I mostly eat like salads and sandwiches and the like. But my gut is very weird, and so I had to do an elimination diet. So I eat very differently from the rest of them. I mean, I can mostly eat normal food sometimes. You know what I mean? So like tomorrow, my sister's going to make a ham for Easter, and I'll go upstairs and you know, um, and that kind of thing. But yeah, I am an omnivore, so I'm not a vegetarian or vegan or anything like that. Mostly just because I don't believe animals are any more precious than plants, frankly. But in behavior, I eat some chicken, but I'm mostly pescatarian, and I eat lots of peanut butter. I mean, I eat lots of peanut butter. Um, okay, anyway, see, let me, if I, where am I at here? Oh, Sponge, what is it? Sponge Toe 75. Hello from California to Canada. Who drank my almond milk, right? Yeah, I was, yeah, after, I, was in my early 50s, when all that started coming down. And, I, at the time, I was actually the healthiest I'd been in my entire life, which was very frustrating. So I had a good few years, I thought, um, I was going to keep working there. Um, but yeah, you're right. It's, yeah, hard labor is, it is what it is, work is work. And, I liked that job. It wasn't the greatest paying job, and there were some aggravations about it. And there were some frustrations because, well, it was retail packaging, and it's inherently a wasteful industry. And it was a thing that yeah, well, whatever, you get paid to do a thing, right? Um, Ah, so you didn't like the warehouse stuff, Tim, huh? Oh, okay. Wow. I'm sorry that you lost your mom as well, Tim. Yeah, my mom, it was just, I guess it was what, 2019. Yeah, it was just, she died, she passed just before the whole pandemic nightmare. So, have I ever experimented with LSD? See, experimentation implies that I didn't know what I was doing. Yes. Yeah, LSD, mescaline, psilocybin. I was a big fan of those things. Now, I'm not going to advocate anybody else go. You know, everybody has to do their own thing, and there are certainly risks when it comes to anything psychoactive. Even cannabis can be an issue for some people, and I still occasionally use cannabis. Um, but yeah, no, I mean, I have thought about trying to do some psychedelic stuff. The problem is, I don't have a psychiatrist anymore, but for a while I had a psychiatrist that was overseeing my mental health meds along with um, the gabapentin I take. So it took a little bit of experimentation to figure out what was going to serve both my depression, and it turns out I have a mood disorder as well that I guess falls under the bipolar umbrella. Um, but okay, so there's no research or anything on how safe it would be for me to do any kind of like the thing I'd like to do most basically is mushrooms, just because I feel like I can control what's going on with them the best. Um, but anyway, it's not known whether or not I could safely take it with the lamotrigine. So until somebody knows or until I get motivated to change my cocktail low pills, I'm gonna, just not. Yeah. So yeah, that's the modern world does that, doesn't it? I mean, as far as the exacerbating depression, etc. Yeah, I've heard a lot of things about microdosing on both. Well, a lot of different hallucinogens. Oh, thinking of that, the one thing I did not do is I've never done ayahuasca or the what is it? I can't. My brain just went dead on it. Is it? I can't think of it. Whatever the chemical thing is, and then there's ayahuasca. My brain just for some reason can't remember what it is. Um, but I've always been interested in trying that. But again, I don't know. It's the lamotrigine issue. Um, but yeah, I've heard that there's been really, really promising things for people with with actual issues that Um, well, I don't know whether you're aware of this, but Cary Grant did LSD back in the day under the supervision of a psychiatrist, and he used to sing the praises of it. He thought it was an amazing thing that transformed his life, and yeah, DMT. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Thank you. Um, yeah, but Cary Grant thought LSD was fantastic. That tells you something. Yeah, well, drinking, was my favorite thing too, frankly, as far as a habitual thing. But it turns out I'm a blackout drunk, so I, don't drink anymore. I mean, I was a blackout drunk for decades. Um, anyway, um, ketamine. No, I've never done ketamine. I've never done salvia either. I've heard that can be a mixed bag. I know a few people that have had really bad time on it. So I'm, hey, Sean, happy birthday. Is it okay to ask how old you are? Or are you sensitive about that? But in any case, whatever. Happy birthday, man. I'm glad you could make it here. Um, that's groovy. Yeah, Cary Grant's a great actor. Did you ever see To Catch a Thief? That's one of my favorite movies. It's a Hitchcock thing. It's him with Grace Kelly, who is one of those women that's like her and Kim Novak. Um, yeah, they're probably my two favorite girls or women, I should say, from back in the day. Um, as far as me, being a man going, ooh, they're hot, that kind of thing. Um, all right, Tom, that's cool. Did I like John Wayne? Um, yeah, I mean, I could take it like I was never a big fan of westerns. I mean, even as a kid, I enjoyed them kind of, but I was more of a sci-fi kind of kid. But I do like. There's a movie called The Quiet Man. I think it's John Ford directed, where he's a boxer that goes back home to his, where he was born in Ireland. It's a really really good film with Maureen O'Hara. Man, I can't think of any of the other actors and stuff in it, but it's beautifully shot, beautifully acted, great story. It's one of those things that because a lot of times John Wayne didn't impress me as far as his acting talents, and I think it was just because people just kind of were lazy and let him be John Wayne a lot of times. Um, but give him the right story with the right director, I think he did a pretty credible job in that movie. So yeah, I do. I guess in that instance, yes, I do like John Wayne. Oh, Taylor, yeah, okay, there you go. That's a pretty healthy dose too. That's all right. I mean, I'm glad that it works out for you, man. That's a really good thing. What does it feel like to be drunk? I have only had small amounts. I don't know what to tell you about that, man. Given my own personal, you know, being a blackout drunk, I don't think I should advise anybody on anything like that, frankly. Um, yeah, of course. Right, yeah, Bay. I mean, yeah, there's a whole thing of, yeah, well, we all have thoughts that need exercising, is I think um, the phrase that comes to my mind about certain things like that. 28, Sean. Right on. Cool. Well, happy birthday, man. I'm glad you made it here. That's fantastic. Yeah, North by Northwest is great. Yeah. Yeah, I recommend Quiet Man Bay, Jesus. Watch the live action Cat in the Hat movie on shrooms. That must have been something, huh? Wow. Um, hey, Flo. Oh, Barry Lyndon, right. Isn't that Kubrick directed that? Is that right? Man, it's been so long since I've seen that. Well, Argus Rex, there will be more fairy tale reading coming. I'm going to try to see if I can do at least a video a week. That's my immediate goal. I'd like to get even more frequent than that, but let's just, start with something that's, just try to progress, as I go and get better at doing this and having a better output and trying to reconcile it with, whatever else is going on in the world. Um, yeah, but there will be more. There will be more. So I'm going to do like a regular kind of rotation, like do a gameplay, do a story time, do a countdown sort of thing, do a guided meditation kind of thing, right? And then kind of start over again. You know what I mean? And just kind of go through like that kind of thing. At least that's my intention. We'll see how well I can make that come to pass. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting better at having better quality output. Um, just watched Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I haven't, man, I should revisit those. I was very impressed with, well, here's the thing. I read those, but a long time ago. Um, so by the time I saw them, it had been like, more than a decade, probably a couple of decades. Because I read them when I was in my teens, I guess. It's when I read Lord of the Rings. So it was really quite a while ago, right? But I really thought that I was very captivated by the movies. I thought they did a really good job. Okay, Cheryl B. I hope you sleep well. I'm glad that you could at least stop by and check us out for a bit. That's fantastic. Oh, you know what I haven't done? How long have I been on? I've been on for a minute, haven't I? Da, 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 da. Where am I at here? All right. Well, I never did the timer, so I'm not even going to worry about it. Yeah. So I'll just try and we'll just do what we do. So I guess the timer is not even serving a purpose this time. So I don't know. I'll just leave it there. Who cares? James Stewart. Yeah, I did. I also like, Rear Window. That's another Hitchcock thing that I really, really like. Um, yeah, yeah. I also like. I mean, it's one of those seminal Christmas movies. Is the It's a Wonderful Life? I think that's quite good. Um, yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything right now. Oh, another thing that I really like that has James Stewart in it, and it also has Kim Novak in it, is oh man, Bell Book and Candle. Is that what it's called? With Jack Lemmon as her brother. She's a witch, and it has Pyewacket as the cat. I think it's Bell Book and Candle. Um, that's a really, really, really good movie. Man, she's just a gorgeous, gorgeous woman. Pretty talented actress, I find, too. Of course, I may be biased just because of my attraction to her as well, but yeah. Yeah, anyway, so let's do some more brushing sounds and stuff. I'm going to put on, actually, what? Give me one quick sec. I'm going to put on a sweatshirt and my hat. Okay, it's a little chilly in here, and I don't want to run the heater because because it makes noises that I don't care for obvious reasons, I think. Unleashed from the timer tonight. Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll see. It'll probably go over because of that. Because, well, you know how I get caught up in things and whatever. But I mean, the timer is mostly so that I don't overdo for my back. So as long as I'm feeling okay, I'll keep going. So we'll see how long it goes tonight. Da, 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 da. All right, cool. Yeah, well, there's a lot of movies that are worth seeing that are old. Um, yeah, I mean, I like a lot of Hitchcock stuff. Oh, here's a fun tale for you guys. Okay, so there's a Hitchcock film, Strangers on a Train, which is a pretty famous thing, and actually that Danny DeVito movie that's Throw Mama from the Train is sort of well, it's not sort of, it's a weird kind of rip off, uh, tilt of the hat kind of thing, to Strangers on a Train. Anyway, I guess I was probably in my early 20s, and I went to one of those landmark theaters. It's kind of an arty theater chain that was here in California. Um, and they used to do things like, Hitchcock festivals and, French New Wave festivals and, that kind of thing. And um, anyway, so they were doing a Hitchcock thing, and one night it was Strangers on a Train, and I hadn't ever seen it before. Well, I thought. Anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm watching it, and it gets near the end, and it's getting right to the climax thing. And okay, I'm going to stop for a second and kind of do a jump to a different period of time in my life. When I was a kid, here in the Bay Area, on Channel 2, there was a show that was called Dialing for Dollars. I can't remember the guy who hosted it. And it was a movie show. Um, and it was an odd thing. I won't go too much into it, but he just showed movies. And my mom used to watch it pretty regularly. And well, I shouldn't say pretty regularly. She watched it upon occasion. Anyway, she was watching it one day, and I came in. It was in an afternoon thing, and I came in, and she was watching it. Um, and anyway, I won't go into the details of what it was. But anyway, I saw the end, like just the last bit of Strangers on a Train, without knowing that that's what I'd seen. Anyway, so I'm sitting in this theater, right? And it's this really, really tense scene. And all of a sudden, that memory came flooding back, and I realized, oh, this is the movie that I just saw the end of, but I'd never seen the whole movie. I'd just seen the end of. And now all of a sudden, I realized I'd already seen the end of this. And so I just blurted out and went, oh, fuck, I've already seen this movie. And everybody just started roaring with laughter in the theater because I just blurted it out. You know what I mean? And it's just for a Hitchcock suspense film. That's just such a ridiculous thing to have said. And it was anyway. Yeah, he's way more than Psycho. Actually, I didn't care for Psycho that much. I mean, it's okay, um, but compared to like Rear Window, um, yeah, I mean, I think Rear Window is way better than Psycho. Um, Although Psycho's okay. Topaz I think is stinky. I didn't like Topaz at all. Um, yeah. What new movies do you think are worth seeing? I'm not the guy to ask. I haven't seen a new movie in quite a while. Um, Mostly because I don't. Well, I do watch things occasionally on streaming stuff like that. But what movie have I seen recently? Um, I don't really watch much movies and stuff like that lately. I mean, I watch a lot of YouTube, and I watch, actually, I watch a lot of YouTube because there's tons of documentaries and things. I watch a lot of documentaries and of course, just nonsense. I get, caught up in odd, I don't know, just stuff gets like recently I've been fascinated by fountain pens. So I started watching a lot of weird fountain pen videos. Um, Actually, I bought a fountain pen, so I might do a show and tell about that. Um, So I don't know. I'm not a good person to recommend any modern, movies that have come out recently. I'm trying to think of what I have seen. I mean, the last things I've watched have been kind of action adventure type things, because yeah, my dad has I guess it's Disney Plus or something like that, one of those movie things, and he lets me have a profile on that, so I will occasionally watch things on that, but pretty rarely, to be honest. Um, yeah. Although one thing is because I think part of his thing, I think it's Hulu is one of the things that's part of his package. So I think it must be Disney thing. I think because that's how the package works or something. Anyway, but it has One Punch Man, and so I recently just watched One Punch Man seasons 1 and 2 again. I love One Punch Man. I really do love One Punch Man. It's just yeah. Okay, so Shadow of a Doubt. Yeah, okay. I never did see Dune. Um, and I never read the book either. Which is kind of odd because it's such a big, sci-fi thing, and I'm a fan of sci-fi. Um, Although to me, I don't know. To me, since I've never read it, it's hard for me to judge. But it seems it's on that border of sci-fi fantasy. Um, East of Eden. Oh, that's a old one, yeah. The only Indiana Jones movie I saw was the very first one back in the day, and it was ginormous when it came out. Man, it was quite a big deal. Um, that's the only one I've seen. I really enjoyed that one though. Yeah, I mean, I did like that. But oh, no, that's not right. I did see the. I just remembered I saw it, but it was on. It wasn't in the theater, so I didn't see it from start to finish. It was on a DVD or tape or something like that. It was the one that had Sean Connery as his dad, um, which I thought was kind of fun in a weird way, but it also struck me as a little silly. But there were some good moments in it. So I don't really remember all the details of the story, but I do. Like that's the one with the chalice and stuff, right? Um, yeah, so anyway, I have a positive emotional memory of it, right? Oh, I never thought about looking for documentaries on the Disney Plus thing. I mostly just watch a lot of them here on YouTube, just because there's such a, I mean, there's just so much material on YouTube. It's just crazy. Um, I mean, that's one good thing about the platform, I suppose, is that there's just so much stuff. I mean, the downside is sometimes it's difficult to find what you're looking for. Um, I find their search thing is, I think it's getting worse and worse to use. Like when I search for videos, I find that they start going, they'll show me a few things of the thing I'm looking for, and then they like interject all this other stuff that, you might also like this. It's like, no, just show me the thing I'm looking for, man. Don't, holy mackerel, man. Anyway. I'm going to have to look into the life and death of Colonel Blimp. I don't know that one, or A History of Violence either. But what's another thing that I like that kind of falls into that kind of revenge thing is Gladiator. I really enjoyed that. I mean, I realized that some of it was a bit over the top, I think. But, for the most part, I really enjoyed that. Okay, I will look at that, Tim, as far as the documentaries. Oh, Godzilla and Kong, that would be something I might want to check out, man. Because when I was a kid, Godzilla and stuff was super big, man. Of course, but this was back in the day when I was watching Godzilla. I mean, those were Japanese movies of a guy in a suit. You know what I mean? But that was fantastic. Those old movies were just, you know, man. And they would build the models of the city. You know what I mean? And it was just, man. I mean, we all knew what was going on, right? But you could, do the suspension of disbelief kind of thing, and those were fun movies. And Gamora and all that stuff. And man, I can't think of any of the monster names, but there's a whole mess of those things, of those Japanese monster movies that were just fantastic. Oh, and early anime too, like Marine Boy. I really also of course Speed Racer, but I really liked Marine Boy. Um, and there was a couple of other ones too, but I can't think of their name. But I don't think we never called it anime back then. It was just Japanese, cartoons. All right, cool. Okay, let's get back onto some more brushing nonsense. Let's get to the beard brush, I guess. Let's do some over here. Oh, this is totally tangential, babe, Jesus, but you mentioned Cain and Abel. Has anybody seen He Didn't Die? It has Henry Rollins as the lead. That's a pretty interesting film. I guess that's somewhat recent. I don't know, when did that actually come out? To be honest, I have no idea. It might even be decades old. And but I just saw it. Oh, I don't remember when I saw it. I think I was living here though, so it was after I lived in San Francisco. So I don't know when it was actually made, but that's when I saw it. Um, so it would have been in like the past 5 years or something is when I saw it. But it's yeah, He Didn't Die. That was a pretty interesting thing. Yeah, the He Didn't Die thing. It's a indie film, right? So you have to go into it with that expectation, right? It doesn't have a high budget or anything like that, but it's um, But you know, if your focus is on storytelling, you don't need a big budget, right? Okay, what else? Let's get back to the jar, I think. Do some jar noises. Let's do the lid here. Make sure Ooh, that was probably a little loud. I like the fingers on the top better, though. Like this. Oh yeah, I was going to do some Codebreaker tonight, wasn't I? I should maybe do that a little bit, huh? Let me do some more of the jar thing, and then I'll do some Codebreaker. No, I have not seen No Country for Old Men, although it has been recommended to me, and you know, I might get around to seeing it. Okay, let's. Okay, you know, I am going to go. Let me switch over so we can do a little bit of Codebreaker for a bit. Let's go down to here. And there we go. Have a little bit of Codebreaker happening. So I'm going to do this. Put this over there so it's out of the way. Okay, so the OBS is over there, and now I can do the game over here. So I can kind of keep an eye on the levels, I think. Make sure, you know, I keep forgetting to do any whispering. Should try and do a little bit more whispering. Oh, you know, let me move this a little bit so I can, let me do it this way, I think. I want to make it so I can see the comments too while I'm also playing the game. Okay, there, I think everything will be fine that way now. Okay, can I see everything I need to see? I think so, okay. So I think I got everything the way I need it. So now let's try and play some Codebreaker. Okay, so you know, I'm going to do, just because I'm going to start off with the super easy way, which, you know, doesn't guarantee a solution, but, you know, so single color at a time start, right? Okay, so we know that red is in the puzzle, but that's about all we know, right? So let's keep red in it, and then let's add orange. God, it's so strange how muted the colors are when I use this dark mode. And it's this software, what is it? It's a extension thing, Midnight Lizard. It kind of forces things into dark mode even if the website doesn't have the option on its own, right? Okay, so we know orange is in it, and we also know that there's a thing that's black and a thing that's not. So, well, we know that red is not the black peg, right? Remember that the position of the black peg here doesn't mean the position in the guess. It just always does the black pegs first. But if the black peg was correct, right, then that would mean the white peg referred to an orange, which meant it's not in the right place, but it has no place else to go. So it has to be that one of these four oranges is correct, and that the red is not in the proper place. So I'll just guess that orange, and I'll move the red one spot, and I will now introduce yellow. And, okay, yellow is not in it, and neither orange nor red are in the right place yet. So I will move them each one again, and I will introduce green, and we'll see what that gets us. Okay, what do you know? Got a good guess there. So we got the red, the orange, and green is in it, and we now have to figure out which of those three spots is the green one. Alright, but we have these. So let's do the red, let's do the orange, and I will just arbitrarily choose the green to go there, and let's introduce the lighter of the blues. Call it turquoise or something like that maybe, or sky blue. What is that a good? Okay, so again, we have three of them in the correct spot, but one of them is not in the correct spot. And we can know that it's the green that is not in the correct spot because, again, we know these two already, right, from the previous line. And we know that green is obviously in it, but one of those three. However, if it was the green, that would mean that the white was referring to one of the light blues, but it now has nowhere to go if we assign the green to be a black peg. So it cannot be that the green is a black peg, so it means one of these two light blues are. So I'm going to arbitrarily choose the left one. Let's go ahead and stick in the orange and the red, or the red and the orange, or whatever. And we're going to move the green over to there. And now let's introduce the dark blue. Hey, what do you know? Good guess on that. Which light blue it was, isn't it? Okay, let me see what I've got here for comments here. Okay. Hello from British Columbia. Well, hell, Canadabis. Great name. Do you have a stream on your... Do I have Steam on my computer? No, I don't have Steam on my computer. I don't know, does Steam... I'll have to look. There's probably a Steam client on for Linux. I'll have to look, because I use Pop! OS. So, I'm not really that much of a gamer, to be honest, though. So, I mean, I play these types of games, but I don't, I don't really play any kind of action games or anything like that. Okay, a cool puzzle game, Golf Peaks. Oh, I'll have to look into it. Golf Peaks. I don't know anything about that game. DOS vibes. Yeah, man, back in the whole, DOS command line kind of thing, right? Man, that's a while back, yeah. Well, Tim, when I was a kid, well, I grew up with computers as well, like almost everybody does nowadays. However, I'm talking about back in the 70s, and I know I've told this before, but I'll tell it again. We had an Exidy Sorcerer. That was the first one we had, a computer. And it had 8K. That's how much memory it had. 8K. That was it, man. Yeah, that was it was holy mackerel. No, I've never owned a game console, Tim. Yeah, back in the day, you had that, floppy disk. But, our Exidy Sorcerer, initially, we used cassettes. It was a while before we got a floppy drive, but it just needed to be, the telemetry or whatever you want to call it, that noises, right? Okay, all right, cool. I will look into that, Adeno. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, there's a whole thing between people that use computers versus people that use consoles, isn't there? Oh, right, yeah, Pop Ubuntu, yeah. I think Pop is basically, I think what is it? System 76 is the company, because I have Pop! OS because the computer I have is their computer, it's the hardware. Um, and so we got that, and it came with that. But I'm pretty sure that that's just their flavor of Ubuntu, that they just put some, their own proprietary nonsense into it to um, play Pong, right? Yeah, I should look into finding some of those old nostalgic type things and see if I could. I don't know how ASMR-ish it would be to play those things, but it might be okay. Yeah. There's another game. It's not Pong exactly, but Pong reminds me of it. Man, what was it called? It's this thing where it's bouncing balls, and you're trying to cordon off areas on the playing space, which is a rectangular playing space, and you're trying to combine or trying to contain the balls into ever smaller areas. Um, yeah, it's a okay. You know, my sister and her family, they were really big into uh, the consoles. I don't remember which one they had, and I did play a couple of games with them just because they would do like. I lived in the same apartment complex as my sister for a few years. Um, this was many years ago. It was back when I was doing the computer. Well, it's a long story, um, but I would go hang out with them on some evenings, just because while my family's pretty close knit, and so I would go and we would do sort of a family all play together, with a bunch of the little things, and I just sucked at it. The kids loved it because I was an adult and they could beat the hell out of me in the games. You know what I mean? Well, I don't have a laptop of theirs, but if I ever get a laptop, I'll buy one. It's a desktop, but yeah, they're because I actually had a couple of issues with it when I first got it, and their customer service was like just Johnny on the spot, man. They just really took care of me, like bing bang. Um, so yeah, I really like them. Um, yeah, I will, they will be who I go to for hardware, until something changes my mind. But I have, there's no reason for me to look anywhere else. I've been so completely happy with, what I've gotten from them. Jazzball, okay, right. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry about the, I guess, well, here's the thing. I suppose maybe I should just turn off monetization for the streams, maybe. I wonder if I could turn it off for while it's going and then turn it on for while it goes back to replays. I don't know. Or maybe I just have to turn it off. Um, well, let me know if you guys think I should turn off the monetization on the streams. Um, yeah. They used to give me a thing um, so that I would know when the ad was coming up. Um, and it doesn't seem to be doing that anymore. Or the way they do it now is I just don't notice it. I don't know. I have to look into it. Um, yeah. So I'm sorry about the ad, man. Well, just let me know how horrible it is, and if I should turn it off, right? Anyway, I have one sister. Yeah, I'm the oldest, and yeah, she's 3 years, 3 months, and 6 days younger than me. My evening's okay, Tom. Thanks for asking. How about yourself? Oh, I didn't even get the Mystery Science Theater ref. Yeah, cool. Cyberpunk vibes. Okay, Tom McDonald, why does the conversation have to be about technology? How about the days before cell phones, video games? Do any of you remember Lord Buckley? Lord Buckley, that name's familiar, but no, it doesn't bring anything specific to mind right now. But um, yeah, when I watched a video a while back. Um, it was on YouTube, and it was a reaction video actually, but it was a young person, kind of a Gen Z sort of person, I guess. Um, and they were reacting to a video that somebody had put together that was, well, about us Gen X kids, from when we grew up, mostly the '70s, right? I mean, I think most people put Gen X. I think I'm pretty much the beginning of it at 65 because my parents were baby boomers. I mean, they were actual baby boomers, meaning the idea of baby boomer meant all of the it was just a glut of kids that were suddenly born after World War II. And my parents were like, well, both my grandparents came back from the war, and my mom and my dad were born. You know what I mean? That was that. And when I was born, my mom was 19. She was born in 46. My dad was born in 47. I was born in 65. So, I mean, I am more or less going to be, I mean, you'd have to be, you know, a pretty young human to, you know, be a baby boomer and given birth to a kid before my mom. I mean, not to say it didn't happen, but um, yeah, but um, anyway, so I was watching that thing, and it was there was a lot of things that there was talking about, you know, all the silly stuff we used to do, like, you know, riding the back of pickups, and like seat belts they weren't required, you know what I mean, back in the day, and also just stuff, you know, early, you know, dirt bike stuff before it was really established as, you know, a sophisticated form of, you know, BMX or whatever, and of course early skateboards, and um, yeah, I mean, we were feral kids back in the 70s. That we were doing a lot of stuff that, and plus there was a lot of stuff that was just really unsafe, like lawn darts and stuff like that, you know. Yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff, man. Let's see, da, 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 da. You remember me saying, oh man, okay, yes, I was married once. Do I have any advice? Well, okay, I don't want to. I'm not sure what their situation is, but I'll tell you the things that in my divorce that made it bad for me. Um, is I couldn't at the time see my culpability in the situation. She's the one that wanted the divorce, and I didn't. And I, it was a really messed up thing, and my head was in a really, really bad space. And looking back on it, to be honest, I mean, she was right to divorce me, but it wasn't like there was any abuse or anything like that. It was just, I don't know, I don't want to get too much deep into it, but um, I don't know. I guess the best thing, well, first of all, if it's any possibility of you getting some kind of counseling support, just have somebody to talk to, whether it's a family member or an actual counselor or something like that. Um, I don't know. Just make sure you take care of yourself psychologically. Um, and I don't know. Just try to be civil, right? Try not to let negativity, take over your world, because that was the. I became very, very negative and stuff, and I let it damage me psychologically way more than I should have. So I guess that would be the thing, is to, um, try not to let negativity ruin you, and try to keep a clear view of what's actually the situation is about. Um, because, yeah, I mean, that would be my advice, I guess. Take care of yourself and try to have clear eyes as best you can. I have no children, which is, a good thing, because, um, yeah, I don't even have pets because well, as you might imagine, I'm a bit of an eccentric, and um, yeah, me being responsible for another entity that's alive is probably not a good idea. Motivation for schoolwork. Um, you know, except I didn't like high school. Junior high and high school sucked. Um, but I liked elementary school. Well, I liked elementary school in fourth, fifth, and sixth grade. Early elementary school sucked. Um, and yeah, I don't want. Maybe I'll make a video about some of that stuff. Some more biographic type things. You guys seem to be interested in that sort of thing, so I'll make some videos about that. But I liked college a lot. I mean, I went and I majored in math, and I finished all the coursework for my degree, but I screwed up my application stuff, and so they denied me the degree, and I have taken care of the issue, but I just never went and reapplied. Because there's the thing, I didn't go for the degree. I went for the education. I mean, initially I wanted the degree because I thought I was going to be a math teacher, and then as I was doing the degree, I realized I do not have the temperament to be a teacher. So I abandoned that idea. But so after that, I didn't really need the degree, but I finished pursuing it just because I wanted the education. I mean, I'm a big fan of a liberal arts education. I mean, a lot of people complain about general ed and that kind of thing. It's like, man, it's good for you it's good for your brain, man. It's good for your brain. And that's the thing I say. So try to find a way to get your mind into the idea that it's good for your brain, man. And try to find that. Try to find your curiosity. Yeah, that would be my advice. Try to find your curiosity. Well, Tim, since you say could have made you, I'm assuming that means that you were able to avoid the bitterness, and that's a good thing, man. I hope that, did I ever want kids? Um, no. I mean, there were times I thought about, it might have been kind of cool to, raise a kid and see what they might have been capable of or something like that. Um, because I see other people having kids, and they seem to, that there's a sense of, I don't know, bring something to their life that seems to enrich their life, and that seems like it's a valuable thing. Um, but no, I was always pretty aware of the fact that I was, I'm a pretty smart guy, but I also do a lot of really stupid shit. So, so no, I never really wanted a family in any serious means. Am I vegetarian? No, I'm not. I'm an omnivore. I talked about that a little bit earlier. AC. But in practice, I am mostly a pescatarian. I mean, I eat sardines and albacore a lot, and peanut butter. I will occasionally eat canned chicken. I'll put that in a salad. And once in a while I eat eggs, but mostly I eat, I eat peanut butter sandwiches every day, and I eat a salad of some kind every day, either with some sardines in it, or I'll have a albacore sandwich or something like that. Wow, twice, huh? Yeah, see, after my first failed marriage, I was like, all right, I'm not doing that again. But, well, I have, well, I'm pretty open with you guys about it. I have, some weird, psychological issues. So I'm actually celibate and have been for more than a decade. So, which is fine. I kind of, my phrase is that I decided to stop inflicting myself on women. But yeah, here, let me do another, here, let me do ring. Oopsie daisy. Sorry about that flash. Do I ever eat fast food? Yeah, once in a while. Um, and it's usually just kind of, okay, so what do I like fast food wise? Um, I like Der Wiener Schnitzel hot dogs once in a while, especially the chili dog or the corn dog, but pretty rarely. But, I will, Um, I like, man, it's like probably not terribly healthy at all, but I like the egg McMuffin, the sausage egg McMuffin with the hash brown little thing in a little cup of orange juice breakfast. I can get at McDonald's, once in a while I'll have that. But I eat fast food probably a half dozen times a year. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not. That's not something I indulge in very often. Um, but the truth is, I don't have much of an. Oh, the other thing I like that I'll eat is I think it's called the Chicken Club from Carl's Jr. It's like a chicken breast with some bacon and some jack cheese and the like, and I quite like the roll they put it on. For a fast food thing, it's actually pretty okay. I think that just turned black, didn't it? I wasn't paying attention, and this is so dim. I'm going to assume that it is. Let's see what happens. Nope. All right, I think. Let me go. Where am I at now? I think I'm here. Does that make me here now? I think. Let's see, I think if I do this, let's see, am I back to here? Yep, I am. Okay, will that go black now? Yeah, that went. Okay. So let's go back to the purple. See, it's so hard in the dark mode to make out what's going on. Well, at least I guess it makes it more interesting, doesn't it? Okay, let me try and keep up with the comments too. Oh. A little too promiscuous, are you, Tim? Wow, I lost some 20 pounds. That's a good thing, man. Good going. Okay, so magenta's here, purple's there. I think I'm here now. So let's try dark blue. Nope, not there. Okay, so that's that there. I think I'm here now, so let's try the light blue. Nope. So we're going to save the magenta. I think I'm here now, so let's stick in green. Yep. All right, so we're going to keep that. Come back around here. I think I'm here now. Oh, I think I just screwed up because I was here, not there. All right, let me go back around now. I think I'm here. I think I'm here. I think I'm there. Am I in the right spot now? Yes, okay. Right, and then now I want to do the dark blue back there, right? Right, okay. Okay, so this one and that one are still wrong, so I think I'm here now. Yep, okay. Nope, it's not there. So I'm on the magenta. Now I'm on that first green. Let's try orange. Nope, so the orange is going to go there and then red will go there. So I think I'm here. I think I'm now on the green one. I think I'm now on the blue one. I think I'm now on the yellow one. Let's make it orange, yeah. Yep, okay. And yep, okay. Now I think I should be here. Yep, this should be the end of it. Yes, there we go. Okay. Now let me see what's going on with the comments here. Nasal penny, you don't, but you don't eat much healthier than. So you do you succumb to appetites that lead you to unhealthy foods? Do you? I mean, that's a common thing for humans, yeah. I mean, we get appetites, right? Okay, again, I'm just going to go through the whole super easy version. So red is in it. Now I just have to figure out where. I keep forgetting to throw in a few whispers. So here's a whisper, whisper, whisper. And here's another whisper, 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 whisper. Okay, orange, orange, orange. Okay, orange is not in it and red is not yet in the correct spot. So let's move red one spot and let's introduce yellow. Okay, again, we know that both yellow and red are in it, and we know that red is not the one that the black peg refers to, because if it was, then yellow would be the white peg and it would have nowhere to go. So let's just arbitrarily choose that yellow one, and we will move red one, and now let's introduce green. Hey, what do you know? Good guess. All right, let's see. We got another comment going here. All right, well, that seems reasonable, you know. Indulge a little bit once a week and then be, you know, doing the fitness thing for the rest of the week. That's all right. I'm trying to reprogram myself to get back in on a fitness kick. When I was living in San Francisco before, well, at the time when I was diagnosed with my spine issue, I was, you know, doing a lot of body weight exercises, and I commuted on my bike, which was, you know, in San Francisco. I lived on a hill, so if you know San Francisco, you know about our hills. Yeah, so I was in really good shape for a bit of time. And then, yeah, so, you know, I'm trying to get back into the mindset of doing that. Okay. So I picked the wrong green. Anyway, so let's put yellow and let's put red in. Right, we know they're right because of these three black pegs here, right? And since the white pegs now refer to the green and the blue, that means that this blue has to go where the green was, and the green will have to take one of those two spots. So I will choose this one, and let's introduce the darker blue. See what that gets us. Nope, but we know that the green's not correct quite yet, so we'll move it one over. Let's put the light blue here. Let's put the red one there. Let's move the green over one, and let's try the purple, shall we? There we go. What do you know? Good going. Okay. Mel says, hi, Mr. Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. I hope you're doing okay as well. Let me look at the time here. What am I at? So I'm already at 1:40. I'll probably only go for about another 20, 30 minutes. So just to give you guys a heads up, you know what I'm going to do? Let me go do this real quick. I'm going to make a new timer, and I'm going to say for 30 minutes, and I'm going to call it, have a timer number 2, just because I'm just going to be using it for now. Let's do this. Let's choose timer number 2, and let's click start. Right, now I can do this. So there we go. So there we go. I'm sorry, man. I'm tethered to the timer again. What is my favorite decade of my life so far? You know, I don't know if I have a specific decade, you know, because there's different things I liked about different periods of my life. I mean, so I was married through my 20s, well, for my early 20s anyway. I got married when I was 20, and we separated when I guess I was 27, and the divorce happened when I was 28, because it took a while for, you know, everything to happen. But there were parts about my life during that time period that were really good. I mean, when we first got married, it was fine. You know, we were pretty happy. So, but I was doing, that was, you know, when I was in my 20s and 30s is when I was still playing in bands and doing that kind of thing. And so that was a thing that I enjoyed a lot. And then I was also did, for a little bit in my late 20s, and then kind of off and on through my 30s is when I, you know, did the school thing. And that was, you know, a positive experience, so I enjoyed that. Most of my 40s, to be honest, there's a big chunk of my 40s that I just don't remember, because that was when I was at my worst of my blackout drunk period. I mean, it actually started in my 20s, but it peaked in my 40s. Yeah, so I don't remember a lot of my 40s. You know. So what about you, Tim? What's your favorite decade? And let's see what Tom says here. Cool. I like that, Tom. That's a good line. Thanks for sharing that. I'll do another one of these, I guess. So we're trying the red one now. And sorry, red's not in it. So let's try the orange. Okay, so orange is in it. All right, cool. Yeah, it's cold in here. this, well, the spot I'm in is a converted garage kind of basement area. It's like, a big chunk of my living space is partially underground, and it's a bit of a heat sink. So it's kind of hard to keep this room comfortably warm. So I either have to have a space heater going a lot of the time, or I, wear the sweatshirt and hat, because running the heater is, it is not conducive to doing ASMR videos or this kind of thing. So, but I also just like the hat, it's, okay, but, yeah, that's the thing about nostalgia, Tim, you know what I mean? It's like there's so many things that are appealing about our pasts that, well, that's the thing, right? It's nostalgia. There's nothing wrong with it as long as you take it for what it is. Okay, so we're again in that situation, right? That's going to always be the case, though, right? When you're doing this strategy, you're going to have to, if you get the black and the white one, right? It just means do that one here, just for shits and giggles. Let's put the orange over there. And okay, so the green is not in it. So one of these is correct and the other one is not. So which one? It's kind of a 50-50, isn't it? Let's leave the yellow one there, just arbitrarily, and let's move the orange one and see what that gets us. And let's introduce the light blue, shall we? See what that gets us. Okay, so one of them's right and two of them are not. Again, since there's nothing here that says that it has to be the yellow is incorrect, I'll leave it there. I will put the light blue in here, and I will move, move the orange one more. And actually this is the last place for the orange, unless it is the yellow being wrong. And let's introduce the dark blue. Let's see. Okay, so it was not the yellow one. So we're going to have to look at that again here. Let's make sure I'm not. The only caution I'll throw up there, Tim, is that don't let nostalgia suck you in, you know what I mean? Even if you're having a part of your life that isn't going well, right, sometimes, because I have that problem, sometimes it's easy to get sucked into the, oh, I wish kind of thing, and you'll lose grip on what's happening in a meaningful way, you know what I mean? And it makes it more difficult to face your challenges, I think. At least that's what I've found. So nostalgia is fine, and I think it's beautiful to indulge in it now and again. But I would say just be cautious. At least there's my 2 cents. I mean, you can take it or not. Okay, so which of these is it going to be? It wasn't the yellow. So let's say that it was one of the blues, shall we? Let's say it was this blue one. That's going to maybe put the orange one over here, unless it was the orange one here and not the blue one there, right? So that's there, that's there. Let's put the yellow one here, and the dark blue one there, right? That's all going to be consistent enough. And the purple one there, I think, right? There's a black. There's a black and a white. Here's, wait, where's my black here? Okay, there's where I'm goofing here. See, it's why it's good to, so let's switch these around, but put this one over to here. Right now, let me go back here. That's a black. That gives me a black, and the orange gives me a white. On this line here, the orange gives me the black, and the yellow gives me the white. Here, the blue gives me the black, and the orange and the yellow each give me the white. And here, everybody is white. Let's give that a go. Okay, so who is it that's right and who is it that's not? Well, orange is going to be this. It's going to be the blue. right? Because the blue's the only one that really has another option here. And it should be magenta there, and this should be code cracked. Either that or I've made an error in my logic. There we go. Okay. Yeah. All right, Tom, I hope you had a good time tonight, and have a good rest, and, cool. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate that. Right, precisely, Tim. That's exactly right. Am I happy with my life as it is now? Okay, well, that's a complicated question. So in some ways, yes, and in other ways, no. Um, in the ways that are yes, it's much better than it has been in the recent past, because now that I've decided to not, well, okay, so when I was in the throes of my spine being at its worst and it, making my mental health be, really bad, I was doing the I'm a man thing, right? You know what I mean? I can, white knuckle it. It's like, no, you can't, dude. Get help. So when I finally decided to actually, submit and get help, um, meds are, help my head be better, and my spine, it doesn't, the gabapentin helps a lot with the nerve pain. So as long as I don't do anything to actually compress my spine and aggravate anything in an active fashion, I can mostly exist reasonably normal. I just have to be careful about what I do, and there's lots of times I'll be put out of action for hours, if not days, just because of like I've sneezed and put myself out of action. But taking those things into account, my life is much better in that regard. And now that my psychology is, more, I guess, back on track, I guess is the phrase I'll use, that's pretty okay. In a spiritual sense, I've always been okay. You know what I mean? I mean, every once in a while I get the fear of death thing, because I think we all do, the whole mortality, like, oh, the dread bit creeps in. But my only real problem now is, dealing with, financial stability and that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm working on that though. We'll see, but for the most part, yeah. Since I've got a better mindset, and even when things are challenging, I'm better capable of getting myself out of a bad space and going, okay, dude, don't wallow. Just figure out what to do, how to respond. So I'm much better at that kind of thing now. I still have a lot of behavior that I have to unlearn. That are, you get into ruts, or at least I get into ruts, or I did get into ruts, and I'm trying to, break out of a bunch of them. Yeah, I guess the short answer is yes, and I'm trying to make it be continually improving. Well, and this is, participating in ASMR and doing things like this is absolutely a part of that formula of me, having a better life. And it's not just, the potential income thing that comes from YouTube, which is, certainly a thing I'm absolutely actively working on. But I'm also trying to get my head back into a place of trying to cultivate, because when I first started doing ASMR, it was very community oriented, It doesn't feel that way as much to me now. So I've decided that, you just make the effort. So that's, part of what I like about doing these, the live streams, because it's good. I think it cultivates a community. I feel like you guys are my friends, you know what I mean? And this is like, it's like we set aside some time to hang out, twice a month or whatever, every other week or whatever. And it is my intent that if I can get my back healthier, and which I just have to get off my ass and, be more disciplined about doing the physical stuff that I need to do to strengthen my back. So it's my hope that maybe even I'll, at some point, now this isn't a promise, so don't get too, disappointed if it doesn't happen, but I'd like to get to the place where I did a stream every week, just because it's good for me to hang out with you guys, so it's like I know you guys enjoy watching it, because I consume ASMR, and I watch other people on YouTube as well, but so I understand that there's a consumer aspect about enjoying it, because you're watching a thing, but it's good for me too, and it's not just the money and the tips and that kind of thing. It's to be able to interact with you guys, and and it makes me, I don't know, like when you guys ask me, questions about even looking for advice or something like that. I mean, I try to be mindful of, and actually say something that's actually meaningful and not just, give you some BS. That's why I decided a long time ago to be open with you guys about my mental health issues and my spine issues and all that. It's like, we need to dispel with a lot of the stigma that comes with, people having issues around, their abilities, or, cognitive issues and, emotional issues. And humans should care for humans, right? I mean, that's a big aspect of my perspective on life. I mean, I said it earlier, I'll say it again. I am the atheist anarchist advocating agape. I mean, that's a cute little phrase, but every one of those words has profound meaning to me. Anyway, yeah, I'm happy to share it with you, Tim. I mean, that's the, that's part of the thing that I like doing here. Anyway, there's my babbling on that. I'll leave the mastermind for a minute. Let me get back to the normal thing, and I'm going to do some brushing and stuff. I like to go out often and do stuff for our liberty. Okay, so yeah, I do get into the habit of getting cooped up in here because I start working on weird things. You know what I mean? Because just my brain goes, so it's easy for me to get kind of wrapped up in a thing, and and it's like after a moment, dude, go out for a walk. But I do like to go out. I like to walk. It's a thing I like to do. And there's a park and some stuff near here I can walk to. That's got like a little bit of nature trail and a creek kind of a thing. And there's, I'm not that far from either downtown Hayward or downtown, well, if you want to call it downtown Castro Valley, it's more like just a main drag that has a shopping area. But so there's kind of some interesting things I can get to here and there. And it's, of course, I can get to BART, because there's BART both in Hayward and Castro Valley that I can walk to. And so I can get to places, because I don't drive. Yeah, so I do try to get out and do stuff. I don't really do things like go to clubs and such anymore, which, back in the day I did a lot of. Mostly just because I'm a curmudgeonly old man, and, I go to bed by 10 most nights. Hey, Neil, how's it going? Thanks, Neil. That's really cool. I appreciate that. So here we go, doing a little bit of brushing. There we go. Let's do brushing over here now. Whisper, whisper, whisper. I never really quite know what to say when I'm whispering. I don't know why it is that I have such a well, part of the hang up about whispering is that it's easier to speak soft-spoken for me than it is to whisper. Just in, breath control and that kind of thing. And I'm a lazy individual, I suppose, inherently, but for whatever reason, I just get a mind blank when I try to think of, it's like, dude, just babble the same stuff you babble anyway. Just babble, man. I haven't been doing much of the jar. I like the jar. Oh, and just more questions. Random Moose Brains. Hey, how's it going? Okay, well, let me do a little bit of the jar, Tim, and I'll go back to some brushing. Yeah, I'm, Yeah, I've read, well, I don't actually own any stuff that I can think of that are specifically Buddhist writings. Well, no, that's not true. I have Thich Nhat Hanh, Living Buddha, Living Christ. I don't know why I just forgot about it, but that's a profoundly powerful book in my mind. Um, um, but I was more impacted by Tao Te Ching than I was Buddhist writings. But yeah, there's a lot of fast. I have read, and I took a course in world religions, and I've read a little bit. I won't claim to be broadly read, um, but I've read Buddhist stuff. I've read stuff on Hinduism. I even have a copy of the Bhagavad Gita. Um, I've read very little about Islam. I have a copy of the Quran, and actually, a viewer has volunteered to help. It's a Muslim viewer, and they've said that they will help me with getting a better understanding of Islam. So I've got out my copy of Quran. I'm going to start looking at it again. Um, um, I find value in, well, see, here's just to give you a little bit more perspective on me. I'm sure I've said it before, but my view of at least in part, the way I envision my religion, I suppose, it is my religion, is about modeling the universe and my existence in it. Um, and so religion, science, all these things are attempts of humans to model their universe, right? I mean, even if you believe in God, your use of understanding God is your attempt to understand the world through that information and that relationship that you experience, right? So it is your model, right? And so I find value in trying to understand other people's model. And to be honest, I treat it like I'm a thief. I will steal from anything that helps me model the universe in a particular manner. And I like to switch back and forth between various models. I so choose to be able to use them now, and I reserve the right to change my mind about anything at any given moment. If I have new information that I go, okay, I never thought that before, but now I do. Um, you know, um, yeah. Anyway, so there you go. There's my thinking on that nonsense. What are my favorite conspiracies? I'm not really much of a conspiracy guy, but I have been fascinated by some now and again. Oh, one thing I find very fascinating is the whole thing about the Anunnaki. There's this whole thing about because it's these Sumerian myth things, and there's certain ways of interpreting those things that are, well, lead people into some very strange worldviews, I think, anyway. But I find it very intriguing. I don't know if that really counts quite as a conspiracy theory, but like I'm not we never went to space kind of crap, or I don't buy any of that nonsense. Now I do wonder about some stuff that is difficult to explain, especially around UFOs and the like. And I'm not sure what to make of that stuff really, but I don't really, my brain doesn't, outside of the just kind of amusement aspect, I don't really get into conspiracy stuff. It just doesn't quite catch me. Yeah, you're right, Tim. Buddhism is well, it's certainly a religion, but I mean, your perspective is, certainly, if it works for you, then by all means, hold it. Um, but yeah, it's certainly relevant. I mean, that's the thing about these things, right? They give people a means of understanding certain aspects of their world, and some things are powerfully useful. No, I was never a Christian. My parents, um, they were, they didn't raise my sister and I in any particular tradition. Um, they were pretty secular in their raising of us. Um, my grandparents were Christian, and when I visited, we during vacations we stayed with my mom's mom a lot, like a lot, and it was fantastic. They had a perfect house for having kids, hang out and do things as grandchildren. Um, And so, whenever you stayed at Granny's house, Grandma took you to church, you went to church. That's just the way it was. And I didn't mind going to church with her because it was kind of a special occasion thing when I was a small kid. As I got older, I kind of, chafed under the yoke of it, I suppose would be a way of phrasing it. Because I realized it wasn't anything I believed in. Yeah, no, but I was never, yeah. But my parents they didn't discourage us. They made it very clear. I mean, there isn't a time in my life that I didn't understand that if I wanted to go to church, that they would have, made it happen, but yeah, no. Anyway, the Area 51 raid that happened a few years ago was, oh yeah, that was kind of interesting, wasn't it? Yeah, people are giving you some crap there, Tim, eh? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with everybody hanging out, all of these things always turn into as much of a hangout as an ASMR session, really. I don't know, part of that's probably my fault because I just ramble on too much, but I don't mind, And I'm sorry if some of you guys get to, find it less than enjoyable. I'll try to maintain a balance of, doing the brushing and the noises and stuff as I babble. Anyway, what's going on here now? Okay, the timer is getting down to under 5 minutes. And that will take me to, well, it's already a little over 2 hours, so this is longer than the original plan anyway. But so if anybody has any last minute kind of questions or suggestions, I'll do the brush here, I'll do the beard brush, I'll do a little bit more of the jar. Oh, maybe I'll grab one of the bubble wrap things and do some crinkling too, I guess. So there's that. Let's do the beard brush. Yeah. Which of all these things is everybody's favorite, just so I can get, if nobody else, if some of the things are things that nobody cares for, then obviously I'll just take them out of, I'll just do different things. What music am I into? That came up earlier. Lots of stuff. I like psychedelic stuff out of the 60s. I like jazz stuff. I like rock stuff out of the 70s. I like progressive rock. I like a lot of punk rock. I like a lot of post-punk. I like industrial. And when I say industrial, I don't mean Nine Inch Nails. I mean Throbbing Gristle and Einstürzender Neubauten. What else? Oh, a person I've been listening to a lot lately. I've been listening to her over the years, off and on here and there, but I've been really, really listening to Blossom Dearie, who does I'll Take Manhattan. That's probably a song that, is, I guess, as close to a hit as you're going to find. But I recommend, if any of you are interested in any kind of jazz, especially jazz, that she does singing as well as play piano. And if that would interest you at all, she's absolutely worth checking out. She's a monster. She's just really, really talented. Yeah, my dad and I do stuff quite a bit. Well, we talk a lot. We speak every day. And yeah, uh, yeah. Well, one of the things we do that's actually kind of a fun thing for us is we do our grocery shopping together. And since I don't drive, I walk. It's a Safeway that is within walking distance of us. And he recently bought himself an electric assist trike because he doesn't. He's gotten to the place he's not comfortable driving anymore because he feels his reaction time and stuff is just not up to the task. So he bought himself this little electric assist trike, and so he'll ride along, and I'll walk. And he's got himself some baskets and stuff. So actually, I'm kind of using him as a beast of burden in some ways, right? Because I put my groceries in because he's got a basket on the front and a basket on the back, and so we put all of our groceries onto his baskets on his trike, and we'll walk along and we'll talk about stuff, everything from politics and something from our past or something that's got our attention in media or something like that, and. We spend a fair amount of time talking about because he's very much into sci-fi, and that's how I got into sci-fi was because my dad was into sci-fi, and so we speak about that sometimes. The other day we were talking a lot about Twilight Zone and Rod Serling, and oh man, there was another show that he wrote for before he got. Twilight Zone, and it's one that I never really watched much just because it was, it didn't get the same kind of rerun stuff going on as a Twilight Zone. But man, there was a lot of really good writing, especially like on the Twilight Zone. And, oops, there goes the timer thing. Okay, come back here. Stop. Okay, there we go. There's that thing. All right, so the timer is officially off, but there's some questions in here going on, so I'll answer these, and then I'll try to wind down. So let's see what the questions are. And how do I feel this evening? I'm actually doing okay, which is why this is kind of running over from the normal scheduled time. Actually, I guess it's not normal scheduled time. It's normal self-imposed time. So yeah, I'm doing actually pretty good today. Today was a good day, and it's continuing to be a good day. Yeah, see, there you go. Random moose brains. You know what I'm talking about. Ha ha. I'll have to look into Moonchild. That doesn't ring a bell with my brain right now. Is there a reason I don't drive? Yeah, I'll try to give you the Reader's Digest version. It started because I got a DUI just before I turned 40. And so I did all the stuff, you go to school and you pay your fines and you do your community service. And the judge, gave me because I spent the night in the drunk tank when I got pulled over, and he gave me time served. So, that was, so it was more or less okay. I didn't damage anything. I rolled through a stop sign late at night, and the car that was in the distance in the back was a cop car. Yikes. Anyway. And then, so I had lost my license for a while, and then when I was done with that and I could get my license back, the insurance that I was going to have to pay for just struck me as being ridiculously overexpensive. And at the time, I didn't need to drive, and because of where I was living. And then I moved into San Francisco, and you don't, as a matter of fact, if you live in San Francisco, I don't think you should own a car. It's ridiculous. Parking is just, there's times that I would be on my bike or a bus, and I could get to places that would take, people in cars could get there faster than me. But there was times, like if I was meeting somebody at a restaurant and I was, going to cover the same distance either on bus or bike, depending on how things lined up, they didn't get there that much faster than me because of parking. You know what I mean? It's like they'd have to park, like blocks away and then walk. And it's like, yeah, man, just, anyway, that's my, whatever. So that's kind of the thing. And then I just, over time, I've lost an interest in owning a car. And then my perspective is, just because I've recently become very interested in urban planning and stuff. So like City Nerd, I don't know if you watch that channel ever. I watch City Nerd and Not Just Bikes quite a bit. And so my perspective has really become more and more of an urbanist. And the ubiquity of cars is part of the problem, in this country in a lot of ways. The infrastructure, the pollution, the misuse of resources. there's better ways for things to be done. So yeah, so that's why I don't drive. Oh, it looks like I missed one. No, okay, no, I got. It's 2 in the morning. Okay, Kat. Well, good night. I'm glad you were here and stopped by. Thanks for saying hey and whatnot. I hope you have a good night. So, anybody else have any last minute comments? Otherwise, I'm going to wind this up. I'll give you guys a few minutes to come up with any kind of question or something here. And then we'll, oh, you know what we have to do? I have to schedule the next one. Because I've been doing this random thing, right? So let me get out the notepad, find a clean sheet on the notepad. Come on, okay, this page will be clean enough. And I got my pencil, it's got a lid in it. Yes, it's got a lid in it. Okay, so I can jot that down. Let's get, so the rules is for me is I roll these dice and I get a number between 2 and 12, and so that will be the hour. And then I flip this coin, and that gives me AM or, well, actually Saturday or Sunday, let's put it that way. So if it's heads, will be Saturday, so that means it'll be from sometime 2 in the afternoon on Saturday till midnight, right? And then on Sunday, it'll be from 2 a.m. until noon, if that makes sense. So it's really from noon Saturday to noon Sunday is kind of the thing, but there won't be any 1 o'clock just because there's no 1 on the dice. So anyway, so let's roll the dice and I'll get a number that way. The past few times it's been coming up on Saturday evening, so. No, we're not doing that. It came up 9. I'm not doing the same time 2 times in a row. Nope. Now, what is it with these dice? Maybe I need better dice. Man. Why is it? It keeps coming up 8 or 9. I want to get something that's different. Okay, 11. So it'll be 11. And will it be Saturday or Sunday? Blink. So it'll be 11 p.m. Saturday. Okay, so 11 p.m. Saturday. What is that? That's going to be, let me look at here. Wait, hang on. So it will be April 13th, Saturday, April 13th. So Saturday, April 13th at 11 p.m. West Coast time. So, as roughly the time this one is ending in 2 weeks from now, the next one will start. So I will schedule that at some point, and then obviously I'll put the announcement on Facebook and whatnot sometime between now and then. I'm never quite sure what the best timing for me, because I did it one time. Like the day after or something, the previous live stream, right? And I don't know if that's the best thing, because I think it gives you an announcement, and then I don't know. It seemed to me like maybe if I wait until the week, before, like just a few days before. Although this week, I just did it like yesterday or Thursday or Friday is when I did it. And I think maybe I should do it earlier than that, but. In any case, you guys are now aware. It'll be 11 p.m. Saturday, April 13th. I will eventually schedule it and then again make an announcement on Facebook, Instagram, and of course here on the community page. And of course YouTube, I think, puts it in everybody's feed if you're subscribed and that kind of thing. So there's that. Okay, so let me make sure that I've got all the comments up to date before I sign off. Yeah, what I need to do is I need to go, Mr. Duckman, I'm sorry, it's about the Q&A video. Yeah, I will. I need. The thing is, I need to go look and see if there's any new questions. Um, so maybe what I'll do is I'll make another video of requesting questions. Um, yeah, I'll do that, I guess. Well, actually, I guess I should go look at the old one and see. But I try to go through the comments. I try to do it every morning. I don't always do that just because of whatever's going on in my world. But um, yeah, so yeah, yeah. That'll be. I'll put that into the mix somehow. Okay, so let's see what other. So I think I missed a couple of comments here. Let me make sure I collected everything up. Okay, 2 in the morning. You're gonna say goodnight. Okay, I don't think you've done one before, but you considered doing. I hadn't considered doing a solitaire playing game, but I might do that. That might be an interesting thing. Yeah, I'll have to figure out a way of setting up one of my cameras to. I got these little silly little cheap camcorders. My dad bought me a while back. Anyway, yeah, I'll figure something out. I might do that. That might be, yeah, I'll figure that out. Yeah, that's a thing for me to consider doing. That should be pretty easy. And Tim says, oh, okay, that. Oh, okay, Tim. You're the only other person that I can think of right now, off the top of my head, that also likes the scissor cutting stuff because I like that. So yeah, I could have done that tonight. I mean, I'll try to remember to bring that up in the next live stream. Yeah, maybe I'll try I'll try and throw some of that into a video up in upcoming video. So I have to try. Here I need to make notes of these things, so otherwise I'll forget them. So solitaire. Right, Q&A. And scissor cutting. Okay. Do I have any plans to travel? No, I don't. I would like to travel. Travel right now, it's just, it's financially just not feasible at this point in time. But, as soon as I am financially able, I plan to. I would actually like to, as soon as I can manage to afford it, I want to figure out a way of doing, like somebody suggested it here on the live stream, and it's been in my head. I kind of had maybe wouldn't that be kind of interesting, this vague idea, but it's kind of, become more concrete, I suppose, in my imagination, is the idea of doing an ASMR tour. You know what I mean? Like actually trying to figure out venues to, and actually just, do like a little tour. I don't know. It's right now it's still just a fantasy, but I guess the idea would be to work out the logistics of, getting the venues, and then I guess it would depend on which kind of venue it would be whether or not I'd have to charge admission or something like that, just pay for the venue or something. But yeah, that's kind of in my mind as one idea of travel. But otherwise, I just like to travel. I haven't done any in many years, but yeah, I would like to go. I haven't been to the Southern Hemisphere, and the only bit of South America I've been to is Colombia. And it was on one of my cruise trips. I'd like to. There's a lot of Europe I haven't seen. I've only really spent any time in the Netherlands, really, and of course the UK. Yeah, so there's. I'd like to see a lot more Europe. I've never been to Africa or Asia. There's a lot of places. I mean, the entire continent of Africa I find fascinating. Although I realize there's a fair amount of places that would be difficult to travel, both logistically and, political unrest and the like. And there's things I'd like to see, like, excuse me, like I'd like to see the Alhambra in Spain, and I'd like to see the Taj Mahal in India. I'm really very fascinated by that Muslim architecture and all of that. It's really, really beautiful stuff. And China, Japan. I mean, there's a lot of places I'd like to see. But yeah, so nothing concrete right now. But at some point in time, yeah, I'll be doing some traveling. Have to do it at some point, yeah. Okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and sign off now. Um, so yeah, that'll be that. I'll just give it a couple more seconds just because there's a bit of a delay. Let me move this back over here so I can see what's up with the YouTube thing. And okay, hang on, Tim says. I didn't realize you served, Tim. Well, thanks for your service, and I hope you had a good time in Germany. Okay, Tim, great. Thanks for hanging out and chatting with me. Um, the rest of you guys, I hope you enjoyed my babbling and rambling and the various noises and the like. Um, okay, cool, Tim. Okay, I guess I'm going to call that a night. Aloha, siblings.